What's up, men? Let's get it. How to be a confident man. Some tips. Now, as it goes with everything, first principles, the foundation of any topic or idea is always based on the very, very simple foundation. So I could summarize how to be a confident man in literally a sentence or two, but it won't be super specific or tangible. Becoming a confident man is a byproduct of becoming your own self, of developing skills, and of being internally driven. That's really all it is. If you focus on building a life for yourself, if you can think for yourself, if you can develop skills, and you can deliver value to your friends, family, your work, people around you, then confidence comes out of that. I actually believe that you can't actually become confident without having an internal, let's say, drive or an internal focus. So in a weird way, you actually can't chase confidence. You have to chase mastery and critical thought and independent thinking. You have to chase being who you are. And then confidence will come as a result. Now, of course, there are tips and tricks here. But the most important thing to know about this, if you found this piece, or if you just are here because you're on YouTube or, podcast, iTunes, and you're like, oh, some tips here and there, or whatever. I know I struggle with confidence here and there. We all struggle with that. We all struggle with imposter syndrome. We all are intimidated by other men that might be better at us in some areas or have more money or fame or success. I know that I am. I've dealt with that a lot, but I've also spent time with these men, and I've been in a room actually in New York with the literal collective net worth of over $1 billion, and I was just a fly on the wall. But I had stuff to say, and I taught these men things as it related to evolutionary biology and psychology. I had my niche, my area of expertise. And then I realized that they're just men. They're just regular dudes. They all struggle with whatever they struggle with. Okay? But they also have mastery in certain areas, and they've done certain things, and that brings confidence to them as a byproduct. It's not like you're bulletproof. It's not like you don't have insecurities. But you can kind of compensate for those, right? The more confident you become. But if you don't pursue that inner confidence that comes from being who you are and focusing on literally everything but confidence, actually, it's just like focusing on skill acquisition and delivering value and things like that, then any of the confidence that you get or you think you have is just hollow. It's fake. It's just try hard, right? It's just wannabe. And men, women especially can snuff that out. When you have like fragile masculinity, or you struggle with any of those things, and you overcompensate and you act tough or act this way or act cool, and you're just trying to compensate for your insecurities or the fact that you don't feel confident at all, and so you put on a show, a facade, that is obviously not sustainable, and that's not confidence. That's even worse than confidence. It's fake wannabe confidence where it's even more obvious that you're struggling, right? So again, it's like I just say, pursue mastery, build your life, think for yourself, do things, do hard things, seek discomfort, do all the things that you do on the path to becoming a better man, the better man path, the better man mindset, the lifestyle. And if you do that, confidence will find you, or you'll find it. Now, with that being said, let's get into some specific actionables on how to do this, because, of course, we forget things and we need to be reminded of things, and we might know something, but it's not in our purview, it's not in our mind, so we don't think about it, we're not trying to actively improve it, etc. So confidence is one of those things that the more self-awareness you can bring to yourself, and like why you might be trying to compensate or why you might be struggling and acting fake, when you can shine a light on that, then you can avoid some of those bad habits that can lead you down into paths that create like fragile and toxic masculinity and just fakeness and whatever. So, as part of being a better man, which is the mission here at the Better Man, we want more better confident men, because to be able to be comfortable in your own skin, give the world your gifts, think for yourself, speak for yourself, say things that aren't PC but are true, to be able to do all that and to lead It requires confidence in your identity and who you are. And that's really it. You can actually look at somebody with all the money in the world, billionaire, but they might be insecure around women, or they might be insecure about their looks, or they might be insecure about their whatever. And so they compensate with their money, and they try to paper over their lack of confidence or their lack of internal validation or whatever they're struggling with. And you look at those men and you feel kind of bad for them, right? Like, money doesn't solve it. Power's not going to solve it. It doesn't matter how good looking you are. If you're insecure, it doesn't matter how fit you are. If you're insecure, it doesn't matter how big you are and how much roids you're injecting up. If you're insecure, so? That doesn't mean anything. It's an internal compass. It's an internal value judgment that you place upon yourself. And the wrong way to see confidence is to try to find it outside of yourself, to try to get validation from other people, other men, other women. That's not what you want to do, because that will never fulfill you. It will never sustain you. It's just simple, standard, like, more isn't better, but we perceive it as like more this, more that, more adulation, more fame, more awards, more money, more power. I think that's going to finally make us happy and or confident, or solve all the internal angst that we have brewing in the subconscious. But it doesn't do that. It's a flawed model. The equation doesn't work. You can literally be poor and have nothing, and nobody can know who you are, and you can be a confident man. Exactly like, you can be a poor person, and by all society standards, you could be a loser by society standards. But if you have an internal agreement with yourself and an internal acceptance, an internal strength, and an internal validation, then nothing outside of you matters or can phase you. It can maybe be a bonus, but it's got to come from the inside. That's what it comes down to. So I got this article on morebetterman.com, how to be a confident man. And what's cool about this, I'm trying to give you some actionable stuff. So I got a little chart in here, right, which is very roughly drawn, but it's in your life, you have confidence that follows your experience and skills. So the more experience you get in life, the more confident you become, the less afraid, the more action taking you are as a person, right? And what's cool about this is there's this kind of cross inflection point where early on your confidence kind of tracks under your experience and knowledge and skills. Like, the black line here is experience, knowledge, and skills. It's kind of going left, up, and down to the right, just like a stock graph would. And underneath that is the green, the confidence. But I have this inflection point here where, you're getting experience. You get a little bit of confidence. It kind of tracks under that line. But then eventually you get to this point where you've acquired enough skills and experience and hopefully internal validation to where your confidence actually goes beyond needing to track with your actual experience in life, right? And then so you can kind of do things and get even more confidence than the actual doing. And this is just a very rough, not super scientific way to explain this, but I believe this to be the case. I believe it's just like knowledge. When you hit a certain inflection point in your knowledge and you can make a lot of connections to things, you build that lattice work of knowledge, as Charlie Munger says, then it kind of takes off on its own. It's kind of like a flywheel. Like, you build momentum, you're putting in a lot of effort, you're slogging, and then finally the flywheel takes off on its own, and you can kind of step back and it's still doing its thing. That's true in business. It's true. It's true in everything that you invest time and energy into. When you get the flywheel going and you get momentum in your favor, you let physics basically take over. You let the perpetual motion that you've built up continually building upon itself, and you just let it do its thing. All right? So each bit of confidence you cultivate becomes a cultivator of confidence itself, just like a flywheel that eventually builds its own momentum. Now, the most important thing here, since we're talking about principles here, the most important thing for confidence, but also for success and integral to the Better Man journey, is the growth mindset. The foundation of building confidence starts with the growth mindset. If you can't connect that you can do things and get an outcome, and then that you can trust that process, that you feel like you can accomplish that, then how can you ever be confident? It's the same way with success. How can you ever be successful if you have this fixed idea of success and you haven't connected your actions to your results. So the fixed mindset is, oh, I'm just not good at this, or I'm not good at that. And it limits you. You cannot go beyond a fixed mindset. And this is true of everything: confidence, fitness, success, relationships. Whatever limiting belief you have in whatever thing it is, that will be the ceiling that you can never get out of until you crush that belief, until you raise that ceiling. So when it comes to confidence, like every chance you get to improve and learn, you do so. Like you embrace all the hard things. You embrace every single struggle in your life as an opportunity to get better. And that muscle itself, the getting better muscle itself, is a confidence builder. And then, like I said, you get that flywheel effect where early on you're starting and you're slogging through it. Like I said, it's hard work. You're putting in a lot of effort. And later on, it's just natural. You have that natural growth mindset. You have that natural confident mindset. You get to that point in your life where you know that you can do anything. And so for you, it's just deciding what to do with your time and effort. That's where I am in my life. And I'm not suggesting this isn't this is just an end all be all easy thing and you're set for life. In fact, I'm at this point in my life where I have so many things I could do. And I have, and like, I know that I can do them and I can do all of them. So my hardest thing is deciding, because when you decide something, you're cutting out other things. You're basically killing other opportunities by deciding to do something. That's hard. I'm telling you, it is hard when you have so much opportunity and you have this relationship with time and you know time is valuable and you have kids and you want to make the most of everything and you want to balance making money but also helping people and doing all those different things. I mean, making money is usually helping people, but it depends on what kind of help. Like, do I want to help business owners or do I want to help individuals? Do I want to have a big brand and help lots of people? Like, it's a very hard, because each one of these has a pro and con. Each one of them has a cost-benefit analysis. What am I giving up for this thing? And is the benefit worth the cost that I give up for it and for other things? It's tough. It's not easy. But getting to that point where I know that I can do anything. And there's no fear. I'm not worried about failing. I'm just worried about what I should do. Like, I'm worried about what's the right thing. But the growth mindset is the foundation for building confidence. This brings me into Locus of Control, the most important integral thing connected to success in life. That is very much like the growth mindset, where it's connected to it. I mean, growth mindset and Locus of Control are kind of intertwined. But if you don't have this thing, you can't do anything. Like, you can't control your destiny. So the Locus of Control is this idea that you feel that you can control your destiny. You can control your life. Now, how can you have confidence if you don't believe that you can control your life? I mean, that's kind of what confidence is. It's the belief that you can do things. And I mean, the way most people struggle with it is they want people to believe they can do things. And that's what they believe they can do or whatever. You want to obviously evolve out of that. You want to get to that point where you're completely eternally validated and you believe you can do things for your own sake and you don't need the external validation of other people. Know thyself, as Socrates says. This is one of those first principles, big foundational things for confidence, is self-awareness. It's that inner game. It's integral to building lasting confidence. Because, of course, fake confidence manifests in toxic or fragile masculinity, often stemming from lack of awareness. Fake confidence that manifests in toxic... Yeah. When you don't know who you are, of course you're going to struggle with imposter syndrome. And you're going to fake it, you're going to force it, you're going to mimic people, you're going to copy. Like, it's tough. Listen, it's tough. This stuff is tough. But this is the inner game needed to becoming a confident man, to becoming a better man. So you might as well get the foundations right. Locus of Control, growth mindset, self-awareness. You want to become a confident person? Well, guess what? You have to become a successful person, a successful man. That's what's going to bring confidence. So if you want to read the article as well, some of the tips, I got some in here, like action to feedback to learning to action. That's the success loop. I've coined 2 hard things to build confidence: discomfort training, self-awareness, gratitude, health, appearance, and grooming. There's some actionable stuff in here. And if any of these are your weaknesses, then I recommend you get on those. It's going to help. But again, these external things, these actions, these like 10 steps are not going to override the foundational principles that you need. You have to be internally driven. You have to have self-awareness. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to have that all under the foundation that is a strong locus of control, that you can control it, that you can do things and get results. That's what confidence is. That's going to be it for today's short show. Make sure you get on the Better Man newsletter, morebetterman.com. You can also get the Better Human newsletter over at colin.coach. That's 1L, COLIN.coach. I appreciate any questions, comments, or feedback. Any topics you want me to cover. We got the Better Man podcast. I'm going to be doing that every week. We got the Better Human podcast. I'm doing that. Plus the newsletter. Get on it. Get on the Better Man newsletter, morebetterman.com. I'll see you in the next one.